For me, it was really inspiring morning. From Buffett and through the four companies that build housing to make families happy. I loved that focus really that I saw, but also then the focus on people, organizing the production, and I'm sorry for the sort of abstract word, to really tailor it to the people, which of course skills, etc., context differ, so you would expect a little bit different ways of doing that. So I love seeing that focus and those examples. So in a way, we are continuing a little bit with this housing-focused theme with the keynote speaker for the Kickstarter off for the afternoon, Rosana Wong. I was super excited when Rosana said, yes, I haven't been in the US in a while, so I'll join you. I first met Rosana thanks to Calvin Cam, almost about 15 years ago, so give or take. And I was quite impressed by what her company that she is running with her brother Conrad, Yao Li, is doing in Hong Kong and a little bit across in China in terms of offsite fabrication there. The scale of projects, the scale of innovation that I saw there, I think I found it quite remarkable. I had the pleasure of being on one of their affordable, or was it social housing projects in Hong Kong last June. And that, how many modules had it? 13,000 modules? Something like 13,000 3D modules being assembled for one project. So it's a small little project there in the corner of Hong Kong. No, I mean, you will see, Rosana is super fun and super energetic. And I think we're in for a treat to learn what Yao Li is doing and to learn about the ecosystem in Hong Kong that has been put in place to create affordable, housing that works there. So thank you, Rosana, for making the flight across the Pacific.
First of all, I think Martin is awfully kind to invite me to be here. Allow me to share with you our group and what we do as a whole. And also thanks to Calvin, as I was told, I haven't been back in Stanford for 6 years. My goodness. I love to be back, and so many people I love to catch up. And why not the sunny weather is why we attracted to the Bay Area, which is really, really lovely. Now, this is an open invitation. If you haven't been to Hong Kong, this is what Hong Kong looks like. Not a commercial area, but how we live. We live in high-rise, very small space. Our spatial is awfully important to us. So every single centimeter counts. Optimize, maximize our GFA is my forte. I can't help doing that. It's part of my professionalism in the sense that I see the luxury of building like 2 or 3 story high in the Bay Area, and I love that. It's something that we don't have in Hong Kong. It's more or less like a countryside to us. So this is Hong Kong, and since you know me, I'm Rosana Wong. Do come along and enjoy an experience with us. More to the point, I revamp my hotel in Soho area. It's called Motel by Hilton Hong Kong Soho in 15th of August, just last year. It's so awfully new. And our hotel basically could well be the greenest building in the world because we literally save 67% of energy. Together, for 7 years hardcore data, we saved 10.4 million kg ton of carbon emission reduction with one single building. And that was then over 10 years ago, but now changed to this new business model from Hilton Group. And I was told ours is basically the #1 in Asia Pacific and Greater Bay China. It's the #8 in the world. So come and experience a lifestyle hotel, very edgy, lots of cool people staying in the hotel. Join our, more or less the happy hours, more to the point, is fun. Now from that, by the way, I'm so proud with my team. If Martin invited me back, I will share that with everyone. We literally achieved autonomous twin, and that's part of my PhD study. By the way, I graduated in Hong Kong U as well. We got Hong Kong U alumni here. That was in 2024. My subject matter is actually smart cities, smart urbanism, and I use technology, my prefabrication and the learning is somehow at the end, it drive me to open up a startup company just to carry my vision before I graduated. And at the end, I examined, try it to a sense that I use AI and also create my own LLM just to prove my point. Now I'm working towards that. The vision is I would love to build buildable housing or residential, whatever, commercial blocks without using software. This is basically the historical background in evolution in the precast MIC history in Hong Kong. MIC stands for Modular Integrated Construction, started by my last government a while back. Basically, the whole module manufactured elsewhere and then transported to the construction site. And we depends on the cycle we build, depends how fast we want to build. So basically, the entire sort of from 1970s to within our group in Yaoli, 1990, we developed what we call semi-precast methodology, and my government adopted it, and now it's all over Hong Kong. And then gradually we do on-site production, just like the dear family here. I wish I could bring my father here as well. He's turned 90 this year, and he's my chairman. He works Monday to Saturday without fail. Now, the beauty of that is because within our group, we have two DNA. One is innovation, the second one is sustainability. Father started how to do prefabrication on site just to save labor, build better quality, and so on and so forth. So from that, we set up a precast plant when Hong Kong, from British colony, turning back to motherland China in 1997. We have two milestones in 1997. Number one is we literally finished building the control tower for our airport. Without us being finished the project, none of us could fly in and out of Hong Kong. So thankfully, we achieved that. And the second milestone in 1997 is that we get a piece of land in Shenzhen. We built the very first factory in China. And we got the approval from our Hong Kong government, whereby if we produce the prefabrication in Shenzhen, we're allowed to use the products to build in Hong Kong. So from that to second factory, we actually built out in 2009, because quite frankly, if you haven't been to Shenzhen, please come along, because we moved exponentially in China. And my plot of land basically turned into a property development worth 20 billion. So of course, my factory had to move away to what we call another location. It's called Huizhou. Basically, we bought a mega piece of land, which I'm going to talk about it, and how we're going to transform our industry. To follow by last year, we opened up another factory in Dongguan because we got too much work. We have to utilize our other space in order to do what we do. That's my last government, my chief executive, Mrs. Carrie Lam. She and the Housing Bureau, Frank, is the one responsible and started this concept. Not only built like prefabrication, but MIC, Modular Integrated Construction, meaning the entire thing built elsewhere and transported to Hong Kong. But we also calculate the embodied carbon as well. It's not that we ignore about that. We do calculate those carbon very carefully. Together, building as fast as possible, of course, cheaply and safely, and more to the point, quality. Now, this project, which is my CE there, and together with other ministers, to actually announce it to the entire press of Hong Kong. Our project literally built faster from the origin plan 10 months ahead from the electrical schedule, and we've done that. Why we could do that? This is the most sort of used picture in Hong Kong, including my government. That really was the last module, 3,726 module. This module was the very last one, and my financial secretary, Paul, and together with other ministers, came along to our construction site to witness how we installed that module at the end. So the whole thing was filmed. And the reason why we are so excited about this is because we turned that into reality. My government really wants to push that, and this belongs to my current government now. They said, well, MIC is the way forward. Why is it the way forward? Well, I wrote a paper about that. You're very welcome to read it and give me feedback, because I would love to learn as much as possible from all of you internationally and exchange notes and see how we progress as ecology. This literally was the very first, what we call concrete MIC. In Hong Kong, we divided MIC into two materials. One is steel MIC, we do that as well. And the other one is concrete, which is very close to my heart. Because concrete, I think, is a very incredible product, despite we have a lot of debates about it, whether it's sustainable or not. But to me, concrete is something that It's beautiful, and we can turn that into a sexy product as well as housing. Now, with this project, basically we build for the end user is fireman department, it's the residential. So in other words, the quicker we build, the faster my fire department can earn the income from the firemen. And it's 5 blocks altogether, 16 to 70 story high. And basically, all the modules are built in my plant in China, transported to Hong Kong. It takes about an hour and a half, for sure. And then we keep track from the whole entire supply chain, the logistic, and every 5 days we build a cycle, meaning it doesn't matter how many blocks we do, but 5 days is this project. And we finished it 10 months earlier. As such, basically in this particular project, we have 46 modules per floor. We actually, before we go into what we call the cycle time, is something that's slightly different because we have to use heavier steel perhaps, depends we do the calculation. In Hong Kong, we don't have earthquake, but we face what we call, in summertime, we have typhoon. So our wind code is overly stringent, so we give extra rebar just for the loading. Now we got some Hong Kong used colleagues here. I'm sure he can share 1 or 2 things with you. With this particular project, we divided what we call 5.5 modules is 1 unit, like so. As simple as that. So the method we developed is not just overnight, 10 months, because it's design build, we converted the entire concept into MIC. We make it sound so easy, but I can tell you it's not. The reason why we could do that so fast for the design re-engineering is because we have 4 decades of experiences in terms of prefabrication, on-site and off-site. Now, this is my current chief executive, John Lee. He's the one carried through the last government, push everything further. I heard so much from the government here this morning and the dear speakers. To tell the truth, we face the same issues. Doesn't matter how well off that city or the country is, we still have poverty. We still lack of housing. We still lack of so much that we have to provide for. So for us, building is one of our bread and butter. We basically, Yao Li, we are a developer, we are a contractor, manufacturer, and service provider. Plus, I have a venture fund just to look into smart city solutions. I have about 13 startups. But my chief executive said, those are the figures that was. Now we have to build even more than that. It's within 5 years, we have to build nearly 190 units within our ecosystem. And more to the point, can you see that? From not 6.1 year of waiting time reduced to 4.5. Now, if Yao Li could finish off what we're doing, the reduced time we reduced to 4.2 years for waiting time. I forgot to mention, you're all welcome to look into, here, I forgot, this is awfully important. This is an invitation as well to all of you. In my Hong Kong government, we have something called North Metropolis, as well as the Loop. Those are the areas that our government will develop, not just for housing, but it's a hub for industrialization, IT, autonomous vehicle, drones, so on and so forth, is something that we are structured to do this coming decade. And we welcome international support, funding, or set up your company. In Hong Kong, we're awfully free. You can set up a company and compete with me the next day, no problem. So we have to stay competitive, and this is who we are and what we do. Now, the reason why this is part of Hong Kong is important because this coming 2 decades, I would say, we will have building non-stop. Because the reason being is we want to bridge and branch out from Hong Kong to Greater Bay China, which we have 11 cities, 2 special zones. Now, this picture sums up what we have been doing since 2019. Now, this is a summary also apart from my research paper as well, which I've used 20 years of data, my own data, together with open source data, my open data from my Hong Kong government, to prove one point. The point is, the more prefabrication we use, the more prefab we use, the more MIC we use, the better outcome in terms of sustainability, social and economics. All proven. So in other words, we don't have to argue about that. So do read the paper and give me feedback. So from a research perspective, when it comes to execution, these are the results. For instance, right now, we've finished more than 50,000 MIC modules. Currently together, we are doing, as a whole, as a group, 1,200 over 1,000 MIC modules. We're building over 62,000 units as one group. Roughly speaking, Yao Li probably achieved about over 30% of housing market share in Hong Kong right now. And that doesn't come easy. As Yao Li started in 1958 by my father, still is my chairman. He turns 90 this year. And it makes us 68 years old. But I'm not. I'm forever 18. Always beautiful as well. And thank you, Martin, that I always have energy to do things because I love what I do. I don't see it as work. And this data, more importantly, is this. This is all proven, raw data. On average, by using MIC in prefabrication, the construction time on average reduced about 40%. And the manpower, 60%. And again, the construction waste, 45% reduction, together with air pollution, far more better when it comes to like 25% contribution. All these together, we need to have patented technology or pre-approval in order to use our technology. Right now, just for MIC, I have over 11, comes to about 15 coming along for the patented technologies. This is something that we'd love to share globally. And not only MIC, we do what we call the low-cost housing. We call it from Alaska, when it's what we call transitional demountable housing. We can take it down, not just steel, but concrete. 4-story high, we can take it down as well and rebuild them, reuse them in Hong Kong, because sustainability is awfully important to us as a group. From that to what we call lightweight housing unit to permanent housing unit, together with MIC school, a depot, and so on and so forth. Everything is MIC. Now, this one is another client of mine. It's called Housing Society. Basically, they're kind of semi-quasi. They would get maybe, for instance, $1 to get a piece of land, and they have to turn out proper housing for our Hong Kong citizens. They're kind of like private developer, but in a public way. They do rental and also selling. This project is the very first Housing Society project that we achieved 4-day cycle. The very first MIC modular integrated construction. Together, we actually built 4-day cycle. It was a breakthrough for us, meaning every 4 days we build a floor. Each floor consists of 49 MIC modules, and we are planning how to do that. The maximum time we install MIC, we calculate about half an hour. Normally, it's about 10-15 minutes we'll do, but that's how we calculate, that's how we build. And also, this project was the very first one as a group that, encouraged by my government, we got funding as well to do what we call smart construction. If you go to my construction site in Hong Kong, you will see a lot of screens, and basically everything we integrated real time, not only the construction site, but also my downstream manufacturing, my supply chain, everything is actually scanned for, it's actually recorded, and it's actually real time. All my buttons actually go through everything seamlessly. So in other words, meaning if you, like my government invited to go to my plant in China, you'll be able to see what's going on in my construction site, vice versa. And we use blockchain to monitor and to the finest detail. This one is the very first one for Housing Authority now. Housing Authority is the largest public developer in Hong Kong. They basically government kind of. So they turn up public housing for the entire Hong Kong citizen. If you get the ready, you get the sort of support, so you can get from rental to actually buy. So they have a ladder, a social ladder, how to climb up. You can sell your unit as well. This is the idea that we want our citizens to move on. Of course, housing, I would say, is the most expensive things that everyone in Hong Kong, we have to invest. Because land is a scarcity, Hong Kong is very expensive to live. So in other words, if you don't have a decent job, it's very hard for them to have an income to buy a housing. So that's the reason why we want to build faster and cheaper and better quality. So this is a typical project. You can see the project is about 5 blocks. The block 1 to block 4 is basically how we build prefabrication and what we call modular integrated kitchen and modular integrated bathroom. Everything is modular, built elsewhere in my plant, transported to Hong Kong. You can see the percentage increase. I joined my group 23 years ago from London, and at that time, the prefabrication percentage from 17 to 20 or to 31, up really maximum. Now you can see, together with prefabrication, is 90%. But more to the point, the little one there is what we call the MIC block, is to the fullest, 100% MIC and prefabrication. And every 5 days, we build a floor with that, without fail. At the same time, as you can see, we have 4 different types of module, and those design is not from Yaoli, it's actually we do the build only. So we fine-tune our governance detail and to try to build in a realistic way, our methodology. So with this particular project, we're not only building 4,000 whatever units, but more to the point, we also started to do the entire blockchain, what we call BINI, the whole full lifecycle management platform. We use different sort of dashboard design according to what my client needs and so on and move on. So this was the very first one that we've done for Housing Authority, as well as this mock-up, like so in here, that is what we call the housing design. They call it MIC 2.0. From our perspective, we're not going to criticize it's good or bad, but basically the way design is five phases. And our design is 6 phases, because to us, a module should be 4 phases as a box. So with this, they don't have the bottom. And that's the reason why we keep on progressing. Every single MIC project we've been doing since 2018, none of them are the same. So it shows you standardization, I think, is the key to move forward. So with that, we move on to other project. And this particular one is Gudong, where Martin's been there. This one is the largest MIC project in Hong Kong, designed by Housing Authority as well. But to the scale, as you can see, we do in 6 blocks. They're about 38 to 40 story high, which is the highest in Hong Kong. And the scale we are actually making is over nearly 13,000 MIC units. In terms of units is nearly 5,000 flat, but the MIC modules is nearly 13,000. They all manufacture in my plant in Huizhou, transported to Hong Kong, and bunker in. But for this one, with this scale, 4-day cycle, meaning all 6 blocks together, every 4 days, we build a floor. This is how fast we build. And together, similar to the bureaucracy and the ecosystem in here, our government is so tough in the sense that this submission is kind of like from here to that. And it's non-stop of submission, approval, they slack us off, and then we have to resubmit again, everything across to my different department. Even though our Hong Kong government say, look, we're going to go for BIM fully. I heard the word IPD, we supported that as well. We have similar thing, we have IPD, we also IPA. Similar in nature, but do we really build faster and better? That really depends which angle and how you look into the subject matter. But with Gudong is something different. This Gudong location is one of those main areas that we will develop further as a whole in Hong Kong, part of the northern metropolis. So they have certain view of looking into how we build residentially or commercially, and even landscape is all more geared towards this coming decade, how Hong Kong people should live in a sense. So this is one of the things that we have to do. And to the point, this sums up how we break down things into details, not just the module, it's the weight of the module. For instance, the heaviest one is the MIC itself, it's about over 18 tons. And we have to calculate the finishes and the temporary support for the transportation from China to Hong Kong site that add another 1.3 tons, together with the lifting frame. Awfully important. And we put IoT sensor on the lifting frame itself together with my robot to make sure that safety is intact. And that contributed to another 3.5 tons. So altogether, the heaviest module in this contract is about 23 tons. Now, that is heavy. So all the preventive measures, or we have to look into extra measures in terms of safety and quality. And we keep on improving ourselves and keep on working within the entire ecology within our area to progress further. And that further, we look into like decades and how we work backwards and this is how we do. Now, in terms of not just the sheer or cycle, at every four days, we do 1 floor, meaning we have to get everything ready for it. Just to give you a summarization, we live in a high-rise building, and again, this is a lifting frame for the module. All the MIC module, over nearly 13,000 of them, we completed within 7 months. And the logistic coming to Gudong is awfully hard. Each day, this sums up the challenges for this project. Each day, we have 60 trailers, 19 tons. Meaning we can get 1 module or 2 modules, depends what modules we're talking about, how heavy it is. And we normally have 2 trailers. We practice lean construction and just in time. Meaning every 2 trailers, we park and come into our site, and then we do the cycle time straight away. We do not do double handling, nor that we afford to in terms of pricing, and the cost and control and the quality. So in other words, this whole full life cycle management, upstream and downstream manufacturing is awfully important to us. We work together as one team. Now with that, not only the trailers is a lot within this new area, we have to fight with other contractor because this is a newly developed area. And the concrete mix per day is we have to do 500 meter cube of concrete per day. That's equivalent to 70 concrete trucks together with 16 trailers. As well as my reinforcement bar, my rebar, we have to do some cast in situ on site, is 10 trucks. Another 10 trucks of rebar coming along, we do cast in situ, that certain portion, we allocate a space for them to do the rebar non-stop every 4 days, every 4 days, every 4 days. It's just driving people mad in this project. That's the reason why a lot of gadgets, a lot of equipment to help us to be safe. Now, that sums up that. Martin's been there. Now, this project, if Martin kindly invite me back in the future, I would love to share with this. Now, this is our own patented technology. This is another design build contract that we do. meaning we can control the design. My client is housing authority, but in order to win this job, it's innovation, 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 and cost, lower cost, so on and so forth. And your past performances, score, everything counts. Sometimes 1 point is equivalent to about 60 million. It's a lot of money for 1 point that they calculated within the past system that we have in Hong Kong. We're awfully stingy, and we have to perform every single time. Again, if you have a fatal accident, you'll be stopped for 3 months without saying, without arguing. It's really tough within our system. So this project is the largest housing project in Hong Kong right now. The contract sum is over 7 billion. I'm very proud of that, which is what, 899 million US. Now, in this particular project, we are building 8 blocks divided into 2 sites. And again, I can't choose that. I'd rather build in one site. But this is the Tung Chung area, which is where if you come to Hong Kong to see us, the airport is in Tung Chung. So this is an area that you see lots of planes. It's a newly developed area, really cool. More affordable housing. Now, but for this project, we are the design build developer, contractor. We can actually submit a proposal that is far more attractive than what my client, my housing authority wants. First of all, we don't think 4-day cycle is good enough because basically calculating the cost and control and the sheer how well we have to put into and balance with the safety, we think 5-day cycle is the best. 6-day cycle, we can do it kind of like without half eyes closed. But 5-day cycle is a good balance between economics and the cycle time for the deliverables. That's number one. Secondly, because it's our design, not just the module is 6 phases. We optimize our design as the unit per floor, per what we call the block developed by my government that I cannot change. So from the block design to study within Hong Kong, the way we build, similar to here, you have LEED, we have Hong Kong Beam Plus in Hong Kong. Similar environmental certification. Project like that, we have to achieve gold, similar to LEED. With gold, Hong Kong Beam Plus, together with the carbon emission and border carbon that we have to fulfill, and optimize my GFA, meaning we can build more units. Everything counts. And this proposal, we have to finish everything by 3 months. Submitted to my government, if we got a job, this is how fast we have to build. Now, in other words, we try to not only optimize the MIC module, but at the same time, we do what we call the MIC corridor as well. So it's a system, patented technology, including the proprietary products we achieved and developed within our group and in our plan. So in other words, we actually eliminate the rebar works on site. On top of that, as I mentioned, safety is awfully important. So this comes with the safety, we don't really use scaffolding anymore. So this system is what we call upstand working platform. After we install MIC, the whole steel platform, we just go up together with the floor. So ensure the safety. But now, certain area that when we lift the MIC, remember, the heaviest MIC module we've done is about 33 tons. So we really want to prevent the measure when it comes to safety. That's the reason why we invented what we call safety railing that we can actually go in and up and down. In other words, we can reuse them for transportation and on-site logistics. In other words, the whole thing will be more economical. So we look into logistic tunnel and things like that in Hong Kong in that manner. And now, when it comes to the real low-cost housing, this picture sums it up. This started my last government. So 4-story high, you are up to do concrete MIC or steel MIC. Every single module I only get paid from my government, is about Hong Kong dollars, 550,000 Hong Kong. So what's that? 17,000 US per module, that's it. And on average, we make a little bit of profit. And that's the reason why the social impact is far more important to us than anything else. But 4-story high of concrete MIC is demandable. After we demand it, we can build it anywhere else in Hong Kong or transport elsewhere. We also do steel MIC. So it shows it doesn't matter what material you use, the idea, the methodology are similar. At the same time, we actually do what we call the lightweight housing. Now our government is looking to about 18-story high, more permanent in a sense, but the land itself is not permanent. We have to reuse the lands. It's for temporary usage. The temporary usage, as you can see, all these projects that we developed and finished, is kind of last for 3 to 5 to 10 years. Now, as a whole, I'm very proud. For Yaoli as a group, we are the very first organizations that got HSBC green loan. I have to be interviewed in London for an hour, talking non-stop, supported by my team, in order to get that. And also, us as a group, because we've done a lot of housing, public housing, and the social contribution is rather quite a bit, not just only ESG, but SDG as well. So 2 banks, Hang Seng and us, actually Dong give us a social loan. Again, the very first contractor, developer to actually achieve that in Hong Kong. Basically, cheaper interest rate. Now, these are the lightweight public housing. Not just newly built, we also converted 5, and we finished about 3. In the old school that we haven't got enough students to use the school, we transformed that via MIC or DFMA to turn that very quick turnaround. All this achieved within 10 months. Now, this is really fun. This is what I call monetizing spatial to the fullest. Very close to my heart, only 10 months. We completed this project. It's basically, we built a market underneath a flyover. And next door to it is the proper market. The market is getting old, smelly, and so on and so forth. But within the flyover, we build this market accordingly. And because it's design build, so what we've done was we have dry goods, we have fish market, fishmongers, and we have meat, so on and so forth. We design accordingly. So you can pick your chicken, because I'm a supermarket person. They would go and sort out all the stuff that they have to do, and they can hand you a lovely chicken that you don't see any bits, really. And we design accordingly. Not only that, because it's aging population, not just a worker, for our citizens of Hong Kong as well. So you can see with beautiful color, very airy, very light, very colorful, and then just do a little bit of printing on the column. People can sit there, especially the elderly person, and the helpers can go and get the food, and for disabled as well. Because of my background, inclusiveness is awfully important to us. That's the reason why I got 2 extra larger space for the wheelchair persons to access to our market. MIC School, similarly. Colorful, lots of award. Now, this one is something that Martin knows about it years ago. This project is basically the end user is my government. It's transportation department, my police department, the lab, and so on and so forth. Is to look into the vehicles of Hong Kong, if there's anything that they want to examine and see and test it. So it's a mixed-use building, basically. But because it's design built, and that's the reason why we turn around it in a differently. Now, this is it. And I'm awfully proud of this project. Not only we catch up lots of time because we got difficulties, challenges for substructure, so it was a few month delays, but we managed to catch it up. For the entire incline circular ramp, we managed to divide everything into 5 sections. 5 sections became 1 bay. And that bay, basically, the inner curvature and the outer curvature are the same. So in other words, we optimize the entire design. That's why we spend so much hours together with my team and my consultant in order to make it work. So basically, 80 bays of, we call it pizza, be able to build this incline ramp is the largest. And every single PCAS of this project, MIC and DFMA will put what we call our methodologies, put a chip, RFID chip inside the precast, and then the chip will act like the ID card of that module. In this particular one, I think it's out of this world. Every single piece of them, we embedded our chip, and we keep track on the quality all the way and use our business system, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. So that's the reason why I'm a data freak. I'm a scientific things. I look into the data. I only believe in data besides a bit of creativity. And to make sure that we can improve upon our data and share that with my clients and with my government. So with this RAM, basically, we built less than 3 weeks, 2 weeks or so, and together with the building itself, that's how we build. Every month, we turn in 1 floor. And like so, and the interesting thing about this one is basically is a beam and slab system. So all the difficulties is the beam. So the actual, the main beam is the one we have to do a bit of in situ rebar work, which are difficult because, again, tie everything up. The secondary beams, those are not difficult, together with the system. Now, not only we have to do that, and the factory manufacturer, everything is just in time. Long span and so on and so forth. So we use a lot of different methodology. Remember, I say the substructure, we got a bit of delay. So in other words, I opened not a sophisticated factory, but a kind of okay, passed all my tests kind of factory, got certified by my Hong Kong government in the Hong Kong side to do what we call MEP, modular integrated MEP. So all my chiller plant and cooler plant, huge, modular, made in Hong Kong, and then transported to my site, and we bunk it in. Basically, by doing so, all my MI MEP, we make 2 months faster, more than 2 months. So this is how we think of a lot of ways to actually save the project. Not only we done that, but also I gained extra factory in Hong Kong as well as approval and help other people follow suit. This is how we do it. Now also, because it's not a tall building, on the rooftop, normally we do a lot of prefab for water tank and so on and so forth, but this one designed accordingly, we haven't got enough loading to do prefab. So on the rooftop, we basically cast in situ. Now you can see the normal floor is still the SONAF, but on a, let's say, level 3, as a comparison to my rooftop, basically we can use, on the rooftop, we have to use about 23 workers per day. We take us about 28 days, 30 workers per day to actually do the work, do the rebar fix and so on and so forth. But doing precast, scientifically compared, basically is we save 9 days, meaning 30% actually reduce on the workforce. Together, we've done a lot of robotic because one of my startups is doing autonomous vehicle. We've done the most different generation of autonomous vehicle. We also, our autonomous vehicle, won the very first in Science Park, we served the first and last mile, the mobility as a service contract. They got 2 mobility AV from us. And for that, we developed our own apps, the localization, so on and so forth. Again, and let the Science Park people enjoy our vehicle for free. But now making money for a startup company doing AV is awfully difficult, and that's the reason why we leverage of what we do. So robotics is one of them. We've got 3 robotic lines in internal robots, external robot, and heavy duty. Now Rangers is something that my male engineers create with the name because we love Rangers. And Rangers is basically all my robots autonomous. But I have to say the majority of them, when we use on site, is basically remote control, because as you know, construction site. With this particular one, it's something that we want to latch onto with the IoT sensor in the rack, together with my robots, with the heaviest kind of crane, the heaviest module, or the lightest, doesn't matter how much weight, but we don't do more than 33 tons of MIC modules. And when it actually reach certain points, we will have a beep, 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 beep sound to make sure that my work is not allowed to go into that circumference. So basically, it's a preventive measures. And the other ranges, 2 is basically doing monitoring, plus we have what we call 4Ss, safety measures from my government. So we have to do about 9 different things as a group, really difficult, very costly as well. And this is something that they ask for, the craneage. So the craneage control towards my Ranger 2 is something that we coordinate and integrate as a whole. So those are the fun part, and these are the highlight of heavy-duty robotic that we spin off. So basically, we have water spraying robots that we need for water testing, paint robot internally. Again, transport, people don't have to carry it, welding, so on and so forth. The whole works is working towards what we need, because the built environment is my bread and butter. That's the reason why we love to improve upon everything that we do. And that's the reason why all these products actually came out with throughout the years. Not only robots we do on site, we do robotic things on our plant as well. But more to the point, we do robotic welding on site. We set up a robot like that. We're so proud to the point that not only we increase on the productivity over 437%. I'm not flaunting it about the figures. But my point is, we need robot to do welding. Why? Because if we human doing the welding itself, you might look the same, but I don't pass the test. Quite often, we have to get past the test. Otherwise, if not, meaning I have to demolish the stuff that we built after what, 7 days, 14 days, concrete-wise is 28 days. We cannot afford that. And that's the reason why we suss out that's the best quality to do robot, to do the welding is the must. And again, increase on the cutting robot with the plasma machine, so on and so forth. That's what we do accordingly, my plant as well. Now, this is my plant in Guizhou. You are welcome to come and visit that, but in China, you must get your visa before you come. I do a lot of talking and sharing globally. Well, I kind of see myself as a pro bono Hong Kong ambassador because I love Hong Kong so much. I'm born and bred in Hong Kong. I just love it. I'm not tired of it. And the reason why we're doing this is because not only we want to share the knowledge, like when Martin asked me to come here, but in here, I'm here humbly to really learn from all of you. And more to the point, I think the C word is the most important, collaboration. I think collaboration is what we need in the 21st century, not fighting for the logistics, not fighting for the pricing or tariff or what have you, which is a little bit mad. Now, the point I'm trying to make was this really was the very first factory that we actually got in Shenzhen. Because at that time, the land are quite low cost. We don't need to buy the land. Think about it, we should have done. So now that piece of land, you see the Waizhou, the last stop of the tube, basically on the platform, you can see my entire plan. So in other words, we feel like this is too much. We should move out. Let the 5-star hotels, the high-class residential to replace us. And that's the reason why we turn our factory into a residential project that worth about 20 billion Hong Kong. And again, we're selling that as well. So in other words, if you choose your land right, not only you can make a profit out of it while you're doing whatever you need to do, i.e. industrialization, your plan, but in the future, you can move out and turn it into a development. Now, this is my mega plan. We bought this piece of land a while back. It's basically 220,000 meters square. It's kind of like larger than 25 football ground. From that, we have underground first floor and second floor. And this is still not enough. So basically, I bought extra 3 pieces of land just to do MIC, modular integrated construction, for the turnaround to do the logistic itself. Still not enough. So that's the reason why we just opened another plant last year. But you can see, as Waizhou, originally we have only 44 production line. After we optimize it, we have 53.5 production line to get upgraded with a gantry because it's heavier. And roughly speaking, annually we can churn out over 450,000 meters square of concrete. This is my latest plant in Dongguan. Basically, it's smaller, just right. To actually do it for the existing work that we have, just to branch over before we can buy another piece of land to set up our manufacturing hub. So basically, this one turned out 100,000 meter cube of concrete, precast concrete per day. We do everything in-housely. We learn people globally because it's not that we don't want to work with people, other plants. It's because they don't quite know what we need. That sums up what we're trying to do. With this, basically, it's called robotic welding. We write our own API, and the welding will actually weld according to what we want within certain time. So increase not just the productivity, but the quality. I pass every single welding test. That's the main point. Secondly, this is the plan. This is really fun. This is something that it was my subby. They keep on jacking up the price, which got really fed up, especially my chairman. He had enough. He said, let's do it ourselves. So this literally was the result. We took a few years. Every single part is designed and manufactured by us. To turn this is what we call a production line automation for window. And this window production is just fit on the housing market. So in other words, when we do just-in-time, not only simulation, but installation in my plant, as well as the installation on site, we'll be able to do it. So basically, the setup time with this production line is 30 minutes. But after 30 minutes, 1 minute, we turn out one window. 1 minute, one window. And this is how we do it. I think it's one of a kind in this world, just to tailor-make for my market. Beanie. Okay. Beanie is something that we developed in 2018, encouraged by my government. Basically, Beanie is a blockchain platform from 2D, 3D, logistic meaning I got an IAQ sensor embedded onto my driver's compartment. The reason being is because I want to know the quality control, the air quality control for my driver, all the way to the site installation, the safety system, to what we call sitting image modeling, the entire full lifecycle management from Beanie. And we use blockchain for that since 2018. Again, I wrote another paper about it, very welcome to read it. And the reason why I'm doing this is because for now, 2019 up to now, the checking module is about from 5 checking points to about 15 checking points, all blockchain. But from a production and a plant perspective, it's all about throughput. And again, that we have pages of quality control we need to do. But those we don't blockchain. Only the most important one, for instance, check your rebar before you do concreting. It's all sequential. And the checking is basically about 20 odd people join inspection together with my government and my consultant. Now I have over 600,000 blockchain data, less than 0.1% of them, and my plan have to remake a little bit, meaning my quality control are rather not bad. Basically, this is a video, very quickly. Those are my blockchain data. So we do on-site, mobile app as well, and we have a system, effective just, that's actually embedded the chip, the prefab before. The entire full lifecycle management share with my client, my government. And with certain government, like WePan and some special professor that we work with, we share the data, basically get back to my government. Basically, it's all API. So we don't do any paper transfer, with the paper transfer our data. Basically, different dashboard designed for different clients. Everything is real time. All the data are shared. If I give you a right, you'll be able to do so. And those are basically we're using AI to check on the workers whether you have the right certification before you go into do certain things. We put everything onto SIM model because that's what I like to see from a smart cities perspective, so on and so forth. I'm going to go very quickly. Different dashboard for different clients. And now what I'm working on, if you come to my hotel, you are welcome to come and share and with my Command Theater. What Command Theater actually does is I want to do a full digitalization for ourselves as well as for City of Hong Kong. So basically, it's a smart city concept. So everything is digitalized. I can see ourselves from Hong Kong, what we do in comparison to all other cities in the world when it comes to smart city development. As you can see, different ranking, different location, study, but you can see vividly. And also I put all my data, all my clients' data into my visualization. So everything is real time. I can see exactly what's going on. If I click onto it, I will know exactly through the dashboard and see the details that my construction site and my logistic, my entire supply chain is what's going on, including contractual details, meaning do I need to claim EOT or not, things like that. So from smart construction to smart environment, smart building, smart mobility, so on and so forth. This is something that we actually work on as a group. Now, this is the large information I will share with you. But because in Hong Kong, we, the last couple of years, as I'm DVP and also I chair Smart Living Committee from a Smart City Consortium, it's an NGO. We click and work with people globally, and you're very welcome to join us as well. Basically, the last couple of years, we look into what we call promote low-latitude economy. Basically, what we're trying to, through drones, or drones look-alike, people flyer, to deliver food, documents, or people. And basically, this is like something that I do because I can't compete with the hardware itself, but I'm good at digitalization and software and solutions and data. Basically, I mimic to actually from my hotel rooftop to send a document to my Shenzhen office. Basically, you'll see only take us 19.3 minutes. But the thing is, you will see all the red dots, all the red areas is something that my government, my transportation department is not allow us to fly. So in other words, the whole spatial CSDI is something that we have to study, we have to learn, we have to embed onto a system. This is what the smart city is for, smart mobility is for, and this is what Command Theater is for, something that we share with the entire ecology, we call it in Hong Kong. By the way, if you come to Hong Kong, these are the nice view of Hong Kong. Lots of different lovely glitzy lighting that we live in a very small manner. So this is conclude my sharing this afternoon. So thank you very much, everyone.